Good morning, my friends. I hope you're all doing very well. It's 7:30 morning and we're in St. Petersburg, Russian capital of culture and art. It's the end of February outside and the sunny days have finally begun, and we're going to Rep an Academy of Arts. I invite you to spend this day with me. Today we'll have a very informative vlog. You will see how our students live in Russia, what our training consists of, what are the prices for art supplies and food in Russia, how I managed to combine study with work, and how it's like to be an art teacher when your students live all over the world. So let's start our beautiful day. The ice has already started to melt here and the weather has improved a lot. Everyone can already feel spring in the air. And we're going to the first class today. This is a drawing morning class. The class starts at 9:30 and lasts for 2 hours with 15 minutes break. Recently I felt some kind of confusion. I was very bored in drawing class. I had a hard time forcing myself to wake up for it, because when you have been doing academic drawing for a long time, it becomes very predictable for you, like mathematics. You know all the steps, and that's as a result you get high quality drawing. And like, why start if you already know what you will get? There is absolutely no room for pleasure. When you have done it many times, you already get used to it and get bored. But now I've completely changed my approach to drawing. I realized that, in fact, nothing stops me from experimenting and trying to add liveliness, and this helped me a lot. I finally felt something like joy from the process, because now the result is unpredictable. And this is like pure creativity. I achieved the liveliness of drawing by working with small hatches in different directions, just as your soul wants. You kind of sculpt the model's face with these fine little lines, and the drawing looks like it's rattling, vibrating. I deliberately draw not perfectly, but rather harshly dirty, and from this mess, I pull the facial features to the foreground. You remember how in art schools and almost everywhere they don't like when a drawing is dirty and demand perfection, a clean, smooth drawing where each stroke lies perfectly next to the other? And this is really beautiful, I love it. But in the process, we're terribly afraid of dirtying and ruining the paper, putting a stain. In general, we're afraid of dirt and chaos in drawing. But I suddenly felt that now for me life and strength are in this chaos. There is an element of play in this. I definitely enjoy it and finally create a drawing not from a place of fear of making a mistake, doing it wrong and imperfectly, but from a place of pleasure, curiosity, joy. So if you're also bored with drawing, try to give yourself freedom and have fun. Try to change the technique, because the main thing here is that you enjoy the process. At 11:30 we pull back the curtain from the window for the painting class, as we're painting in natural sunlight. We have a very beautiful model now. Our professors were inspired by the Dutch style, Vermeer, and specifically the painting Chocolate Girl or La Belle Chocolatière by Jean-Étienne Lyotard. To be honest, at first I didn't understand how I want to paint this work. I really liked the model and the surroundings, but I imagined it only in a classical painting style, and as you know, this is not very close to me. I'm more of a modern creative approach. In general, being confused, I immediately overloaded the canvas with paint and it became so heavy and unpleasant, airless. You know, when you don't understand at all at what direction to move further. But then I came across a small knife and began to carefully scrape off these layers of painting little by little and raise beautiful pieces of canvas from the depths, and this really worked. It was like the work of restorer, very peaceful and relaxing. You just scratch the painting with small strokes and you get a very nice effect. You really should try it sometime. Of course, part of my first problem with this work was that I couldn't find a good example of any similar painting of a girl in non-classical style as I wanted, so I had to struggle myself and figure out how to do this artwork in an interesting way. So in general, in painting, as in drawing, it's very important to have a lot of references of good quality artworks by other artists, so you can always look at them. We all need some inspiring examples to strive for, so I try to create more often albums of good portraits, figures, creative paintings for you. I recently made a selection of 50 high-quality academic portrait drawings on my Boosty page, so highly recommend checking it. Here you can take any album you need at the moment. Boosty is an alec of Patreon. You just go there like a store website and take one you want, and like it's very simple. And we continue to paint. By the way, this model, being a person who accidentally came to academy, not a professional model, she worked so well. It's just amazing what a strong person she is. She stood in heels without moving. We sometimes took the tray with dishes from her to make it easier, but imagine how hard it is when you are in heels and with a heavy tray. And she stood like motionless, came every day, was never late. In general, just a dream model, and we really appreciate such people. We had a lot of bad experiences with models when people don't come or are constantly late, pose very badly. I mean, not all people are responsible and treat our work with respect, and this girl turned out to be simply priceless, so we are very grateful to her. And our work has come to an end. It's very funny how all our paintings look together. When you look from above, it looks like a huge army of Dutch maids, especially big canvases. They're quite impressive. I'm doing the final touches near the shoes. I really like this part, it's so cute with these carpet patterns. This is what I got, such a small cute picture. It's 75 by 30 centimeters. I coped with the task that I set for myself, and it really turned out interesting as I wanted. And now a moment of admiration of all these little strokes, scratches. I want you to see these little beautiful pieces which are not visible at first glance, but if you look closely you can see them creating this harmony and nice rhythm of the picture. We have a 45-minute break before lecture now, and my friend and I are going to the art store to buy a couple more things. Near the academy there are several small semi-basement shops with all the necessary art supplies. They are a little cheaper than large art stores, and specifically here there are discounts for students, plus we have a discount card of our friend. In short, it's much cheaper than shopping in official stores. I wanted to show you the prices so that you could compare how much they're different from the prices of oil paint in your country. For example, my students always say that in Europe and America it's 2 or even 3 times more expensive. So you can write in the comments what is the average price for a tube of good oil paint in your country. Let's compare where it's more expensive or cheaper. I was attracted by these brushes. This is my favorite brush shape, flat, elongated and rounded. In Russia this shape is called cat's tongue, but at Jackson's art this shape seems to be called a filbert brush. In my opinion it's really the most pleasant and universal shape. So of course I couldn't resist and took this brush. It was 200 rubles, about $2. And in the neighboring art store you can buy canvases in rolls. They have books with samples of these canvases, so you can touch and choose and they will give you this roll. I used to take a large sheet of paper for drawing here too, but then I ordered a huge roll online and it's much more convenient. Here I bought pinion thinner and tube of titanium white, and we need to hurry up for a lecture now. We have a lecture in the painting technology laboratory. You often see this room in my videos. This lecture kind of reminds me of chemistry, but we specifically analyze the interaction of various artistic substances with each other, with air, with the environment, with the sun rays and so on, like what reactions they enter into and what negative consequences this can have for your painting, canvas, for the process of your work. In general, this kind of safety technique that will help you not to mix incompatible substances, not to spoil the surface and the painting layer, and will allow your paintings to live as long as possible without any negative changes from the external environment. So I know a lot about this and I'm here for you if you need advice, so feel free to ask me. So it's finally time to go home, but before I decided to stop by a bakery to get something for the evening. St. Petersburg is also famous for its wonderful bakeries. They're everywhere and new ones are constantly opening, so if you come here, be sure to stop by one of the most famous one, the Volchik bakeries. These are an incredible number of them all over the city, and there's a large selection of different baked goods, and most importantly, everything costs with $1 or $1.50 or less, including coffee, so it's super cheap and delicious here. I again took the prices in rubles for you so that you could convert it to your currency and compare. I wonder how much cheaper or more expensive is that than in your country, and so I took my favorite cheesecake and I'm going home. I have some work to do this evening. At 6 p.m. I'm home, and here I begin to prepare the workspace. In the evening I have to conduct several individual classes with my students. I usually call them by video call, and one lesson lasts a little more than an hour, and during this time we analyze all the homework, Usually it's drawing and painting, and some specific exercises to develop the skill we need right now. With each student we have our own program depending on their level of skills and their goals, what results they want to achieve, which artists inspire them and make them think I want the same. During the lesson I turn on the screen demonstration and they can see all my corrections. We also discuss anatomical aspects. I give useful theoretical knowledge about depicting a person and about painting and drawing in general. So this is a great, productive and quite pleasant work. And I myself get very good emotions from working as a teacher. I really enjoy helping people, sharing my knowledge, and knowing that I can be part of someone's creative path is just simply amazing. Basically, people come to me either for quality academic education, and we study the basics of drawing, coloristics, anatomy and so on, or people come to develop their creativity, and with them we dive into cool techniques and methods, and in general we get a bold creative person out of you. But to be honest, a mixture of these two approaches is closest to me. The academical correctness of the image can easily go hand in hand with a creative, interesting presentation, so this is probably the main vector in which my students and I move. It's both useful and interesting. I can now take a few more students, I have a little more free time, so if you wanted to develop your skills, I will be glad to see them on my students. I work with any level of preparation, so text me in my Instagram direct or by email. All my contacts are under this video and we'll discuss any questions you have, choose a convenient time for both of us, and start a productive work. Before going to bed, I sometimes read a book if I have time. Lately I've been really drawn to Russian writers. And that was it for today. Thank you for spending this day with me. Let me remind you that we also have a community in Telegram where I share with you inspiring artworks and artists and sometimes moments for life at the Academy. In general, there's a lot of inspiring things, so feel free to come and check. I'll be glad to see you here as well. And see you soon in new videos, so stay creative.